Hello, I'm envious again, and welcome back to the video. Today let's talk about witches' huts in Minecraft, because they're one of these structures which are fairly common in the game, but that you probably ignore every single time you run into them, because there's a lot of exciting things you can find in your Minecraft world, but the witches' huts, you just look at and you go, eh. So in my world, I even have this exact same situation. Behind the huge grass, behind the extreme hills, I actually have this very, like quaint little swamp biome over here, and it has a witch's hut in it. And like many of you, I killed the witch and then was kind of done with it, because what else are you going to do with the thing, right? Well, in today's video, I wanted to talk about and show you the most insane thing you can do with the witch's hut, and actually show you how to do it too, because we're going to be doing it live, because I was so blown away that I just figured I had to share it with all of you. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. Like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel and lets me know you do like the Minecraft videos, especially when it comes to, again, doing stuff like taking a witch's hut and turning it into something actually useful. Because first of all, as I always like to do, let's talk about some fun facts to do with the witch hut, because it is very, very different on each platform. So here on the Bedrock version, for instance, it can spawn in the middle of swamp, little rivers, lakes, sorry. It can also, only on the Bedrock edition, spawn with a potion found within the cauldron, a cool little rare thing. And on the Java and the console editions, you'll also be able to find double witches huts sometimes. So yeah, these structures are pretty quirky on the surface. They're pretty wacky, and they're actually pretty useful, because again, that finding two of them looks pretty cool. It's a rare thing to find, and finding a potion in there means that by just having a glass bottle, which is one of the easiest crafting recipes, you can actually get a free, in this case, leaping or poison potion. But you can get amazing potions really, really early on in the game, which again, the fact that that exists makes it actually somewhat useful. But again, most people, they kill the witch and then they're like, well, I'm done with this thing now. It's just a really ugly spruce structure. But the truth is, it actually has a secondary use, one which you might be aware of, but just in case you're not. The witch's hut also acts as a witch spawner. So it's not like a dungeon or a mob spawner where you can just, walk nearby it and it will spawn 50 zombies a minute or something like that. But what it is like the Ocean Monument, which can only spawn guardians. Guardians can only spawn an Ocean Monument. It's like one of those things where you can only find, or you can especially find the witch here, which means that in the area, again, centered around the center of the witch's hut, you can actually find way, way more witches here at the ideal times. But the ideal times are really tricky to manipulate, because again, if it only works at night, and at nighttime, mobs are spawning everywhere else, and your mob camp's going to be reached, and it basically means finding witches, near a witch's hut is really, really tricky to do, unless you decide to do something crazy, like Game Time on Reddit decided to do. So this was the thing that made me go, whoa, that's crazy, because he spent 3 months, again, in survival, mining away a 260 by 260 area around his witch's hut. And the reason behind that, in case you're curious, is it means there is no way, again, because it's Bedrock and mobs can't spawn on Bedrock, there is no way for mobs to spawn anywhere nearby him if he's nearby that center. And again, that's literally crazy, but I wanted to talk about exactly how we can use that for our benefit, and what you might want to do, or why you might want to do that, and how you might want to do that. Because first of all, the reason for that is because it means if you turn that into a mob grinder, mob spawner thing, it will only produce, or will produce a majority, I should say, of witches, because this is a witch spawning ground, which means if you set up the conditions right and you make it dark, then boom, you've got a witch spawning device or a witch spawning area. So that's amazing. And second of all, let's talk about how you can do that, because again, trying to make every block around it not spawn mobs is really quite tricky, especially given this one's in the ocean. So the easy way, if you are in survival and you're limited, again, you can tell right now I'm not in survival, either that or I'm just doing some impressive flying, but I'm not in survival. So the easiest way to do this in survival is just to and save yourself 3 months like this guy did. All you need to do is grab yourself some torches and you throw them on the walls, and you make sure every single, again, so you want to have a small area around this which isn't lit up, but every single block around that. So again, the easiest way to torch, I've made videos on it, but just every 7 blocks diagonally, or 6 blocks diagonally, you want to make sure that you have yourself a torch, and that way you'll light up the entire area. No mobs will be able to spawn. Again, given the ocean is here, we'd have to go instead be like, okay, let's make little piles and then put things on there, because although mobs usually don't spawn in water, there's like extra conditions. Just basically make sure that you light up the entire area for 128 blocks every direction of the mob spawner, because although mobs tend to despawn when they get more than 4 chunks away from you, in the 4 to 8 chunk range, they despawn a little bit, but after 128 blocks or 8 chunks, they'll despawn 100% of the time. They'll spawn in, but they'll instantly despawn, which means anything all the way over there at that cliff, for instance, even if a mob spawns there, because it's nighttime, we'll switch that later, it won't be able to actually spawn because we've set up the thing. And although that's the one way to do things, I figured, the second way you can do things is by manually destroying things. So I figured what's the best way to do that, and the most fun way to do that, again, I don't know if it's necessarily the best, is to use the /fill command. So let's say you're in creative and you just want to have an insane looking project like that. Well, basically, we can use the fill command and we can kind of simulate what it would look like by just leaving our witch's hut. Because again, although in this particular image from Game Time, he had the whole thing of like, oh yeah, we could make it so that there's just some stone in the middle, because that's the best way to make a mob spawner. I think if you're going to do this in creative to show off just an insane proof of concept, you'd probably want to instead, actually, so okay, we're going to set this to like minus like 20 or something, and then like minus 10 again. What you want to do instead is leave the witch's hut standing, so destroy every single block around it and replace it. Also, did I do this right? I think I must have messed something up. But yeah, what we want to do is replace it with just air. So air is a block technically because of how Minecraft works, which means by replacing this with air, you're essentially removing 4,000 blocks, except I did it in that direction. But you can actually do up to 30,000 blocks at a time. So instead of doing just minus 20, we can do something even better. So let's set this to 20 instead. And then let's set this to minus, I don't know, like 50. So now what we can do is we can fill that many blocks at once. So 18,000. We could still do more, but for now that's like a pretty good example. Actually, wait, let's go all the way down to like bedrock. So if we're at, 62 right now, we want to go all the way down to 60, or let's just say like 59 to make this kind of fair. And that means, but by doing this, we can go all the way down to effectively bedrock. And that means that nothing can spawn, and if it can spawn, it's all the way down there. And again, if you just remove the last few stone blocks by hand, then you'll have yourself a perfectly complete thing. And again, although if you're in survival, this is not the most viable way, because even with massive tools and a lot of help, you did that. You can still see how, like, oh yeah, if you do this in creative, this is obviously the way, because you spend just a little bit of time, and then suddenly you've surrounded your witch's hut, and you've made the craziest looking thing, which is what we're doing today, just for the sake of like making something perfect. So I'm doing this in a really, really kind of rough way, but I love just seeing the swamp being entirely destroyed like this. There's something beautiful about it, and then obviously as the water spawns down there, it makes even the few blocks which they could spawn on even less likely to spawn. So once you do that for a 256 block area, again, we'll do for a smaller area for today's video. Oh, that was a little bit too high. I chopped off some of the... Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so once you've done this for a 256 block area, so again 128 blocks in every direction, you could realistically do a little less. And what I would actually recommend to save time, again time, or in the case of creative, it's saving you like minutes. If it's in the case of obviously being in creative, it can save you, in creative it's minutes, but in survival this could save you months. What you want to do instead is you want to just have 128 blocks in one direction. So you can see this way, for instance, we'll focus a lot more here. If we go this way a whole bunch, then we can make it so behind the mob spawner, it doesn't really matter so much anyway. So you could light up one side, destroy the chunks on the other, do something like this where it's kind of like a weird hybrid strategy. So let's just do a little bit more right there, just to like really drive this one home. Like, okay, all of that's gone too. We'll leave the blocks on top for now. We could like torch them up on something. Also, it's really crazy like destroying this many blocks. Like it really messes your world up. But if we do this and then actually a little bit more, as long as you do 128 blocks in one direction, then the only things 128 blocks away that can spawn are the witch and things over there. And things over there, again, they're not going to affect us because that still means that the chunks in front of us are entirely reserved for the witch, which means by having a witch spawner like that, you could actually convert it into being a real witch thing, and then you can build a bridge to it. Again, I would recommend doing something kind of fun with it, like have ice and put lily pads on it, because that's a cute little thing you can do. But yeah, what I totally recommend is destroy the blocks in between you and it. Let's say only this many, because again, for the sake of today's video, you understand how to destroy more blocks, I'm sure. So what you could do instead is grab yourself some ice with Silk Touch. Fun fact, that's the thing you can do, and then take said ice. And I actually haven't checked this one on Bedrock Edition, but I'll also check this on a console. But you can actually put lily pads on the ice just like that. And if you want to make a real swamp theme pathway to the witch's hut, because you want to go there and regularly kill them, and then do this. So this is the most most ridiculous thing you can do with your witch's hut. I think it's a really nice touch to like add this last thing here, because it really just goes to show that like you can take something, make it thematic, but also make it a beautiful example of efficiency. So again, I really don't know. I don't recommend necessarily. Oh, we can only place the one lily pad, it seems. Okay, so that's weird. I wonder why that is. Weird little thing. But either way, so you can place lily pads sometimes. You're meant to be able to at the very least. And yeah, for some reason I can't right now. And what I recommend is having an entire destroyed area around there, because there's something about this which is amazing to look at. Like, I mean, correct me if you think I'm wrong there. And also, if you want to do it in creative and use the same command each time, like I'm doing right now, you can either just do it like by, instead of doing relative commands like me, you could do absolute commands, which again, entirely an option too. Or, okay, just gonna finish this off right here. Or just simply follow the same block forwards, and then you should get a nice curve, a nice straight edge, because otherwise you're going to end up with the whole issue where, again, you're mining and you don't necessarily want to. So let's just finish there. I think that's about right. Oh no, look, okay, yeah, about that's as you can see, that's about right. We're missing some blocks here and there, so I'm just going to fill these in because I feel like we should get these, we kind of missed something important here. So we'll destroy that right there. I think we might have gone through the map by accident. Yep, we did in fact go through the entire map, but again, that's not too much of an issue, as long as we just we'll destroy both these pillars, and then yeah, in case you're curious, this is what it would look like if you did it in pure survival, minus the thing there. It's not what I recommend if you're in survival, but it's a crazy project to undertake. And honestly, since I saw this, I really, really, really have wanted to make one of these myself. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, I guess. Like, do you want to see one of these things? Do you think this is crazy? Or is this another one of those things where it's like, you know what, Toy Cat, that's actually an insane project just for you. And also, if you are going to do this, I would recommend like clearing the water first, and then obviously, once you drain the water, you mine down from it. You can leave the trees floating, like I have inadvertently, but I think that adds a really nice effect to the biome that, again, you don't necessarily get otherwise. I think you should leave the witch's hut standing, so you can signify to other people who aren't necessarily familiar with the world what's going on there. Again, something totally recommendable in my opinion. And also what I'd recommend, okay, wait, let's just go to this corner right here, because it's kind of bugging me that this is like this. So yeah, if you're going to be destroying blocks, do it like this, and then you can leave your trees floating in the air. And if you, oh, it's, oops, wrong way. Okay, it's on this side, so kind of messed that one up a little bit, but yeah, you can make really nice square edges. You can make a really beautiful thing in the sky, and that is what you can do with witches' huts. So witches' huts, are they the most useless structure in Minecraft? I really don't think so. I think they were added in a time where, you know, there were so many structures, like they were added just after desert temples and jungle temples, and they seemed like just a fun little structure, but the fact that they didn't add more after them kind of made them more significant than they're worth. Like, I think the reason that people undervalue them is because they're on the same significance level, in terms of literally, if you type, by the way, locate and then temple, you'll literally find, you know, your nearest swamp hut, even though, you know, it's a swamp temple, which does make sense. I think giving it the same significance as a temple in terms of it's one of, what, like 5 or 6 naturally structures that have a mob, etc. I think that's the real problem with them. I feel like if there were like 10 structures the same size as this, they'd all be really fun to find. Like, you'd love it when you first found your, you know, your mushroom hut, or you'd love it when you first found the, you know, the parrot hideout, or whatever it is. And that's what I feel like they could do to make them better. But in the meantime, what you can do to make your one better, specifically, rather than the game, is by turning it into the most insane project ever. And there you go. There's a project idea of anyone who's been asking, because one of the questions I always get is like, so Toy Cat, I want to get back into Minecraft and, you know, do another insane project, but I'm not sure what. Here's the idea for you. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like if you liked it, share if you liked it, subscribe if you're out here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.